Section 8 in Article 1 of the Constitution discusses the power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. Due to this, Congress passed the Naturalization Act in 1790. The act adopted more rules throughout the years. In 1798, the residency requirement became 14 years and required a 5 years notice to apply for citizenship. Then, in 1868, the 14th Amendment was created to protect and give citizenship to people born in the U.S. But soon after, many immigration restriction laws were passed. Examples were people of poor health, education, and literacy skills were restricted. In 1921, Congress passed the Emergency Quota Act that limited immigration of aliens in the U.S. Immigration was temporarily shut down during the Great Depression. In 1965, the Immigration and Nationality Act amendments abolished the national origin quota system. Due to this, for the first time, there were ceilings for how many immigrants were allowed from each world hemisphere per year. The Eastern Hemisphere was 120,000, while the Western was 170,000. Then followed the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, created time penalties for employers who knowingly hired illegal immigrants. In the 1990s, the U.S. Commission on Immigration Reform is when they discussed the basic policy for immigration, which was, people who should get in do get in, and people who should not get in are kept out, and people who are judged deportable are required to leave. Also in 1990, the Immigration Act was modified from 1965 by tremendously increasing the immigration limit to 700,000 per year, along with 40% increases in visas. More easily and removed restraints on building border fences. Many bills since then to increase immigration rates have been developed, but were failed to be passed. Our country is still on the path of finding the best and most beneficial immigration system, but we have made significant progress since the beginning.
Now, everybody knows that our current immigration system is broken.
Obama's main goal was to grant relief to 4 million people who were afraid of deportation. The people who will get this relief are the 4.1 million who had lived here for over 5 years without any criminal record. Also, if an illegal immigrant has a child in the United States, the child will receive full citizenship. The parents will still be citizens of the country they were born in, but are placed before regular immigrants on the list to becoming naturalized. During Obama's first term, he stated that he's willing to work with all political parties on how to make the naturalization process easier. One of his first plans was to set up seminars in different areas for people who are struggling with the situation. During these seminars, they'll be told what they need to do and how they can qualify for naturalization. Another idea that President Obama had was to hire more staff and add more resources to the border. At the time, people were not allowed to pay the naturalization fee with a credit card. It had to be cash. The fee itself was $680, and the people couldn't just carry that kind of cash in their pockets. By the end of 2015, Obama would have changed that. 300,000 undocumented immigrants who came here illegally as children, also called Dreamers, will be newly eligible for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. 400,000 highly skilled workers will be eligible for visas, with some other smaller categories receiving relief as well. This will bring the total to over 5 million people. Finally, Obama took the case to the Supreme Court. There was a 4-4 tie which left the court to block the plan. Millions of people were crushed to hear that the great plan had not been approved.
From day one, President-elect Trump says he will enforce all immigration laws and begin the physical barrier plan on the southern side of the border between Mexico and America. This plan is not only controversial, but expensive, and Trump is planning on making Mexico pay for the whole construction once the blueprints have been created by the U.S. In joint operations with local, state, and federal law enforcement, Trump wants to move criminal aliens out of the U.S. and deport them back to where they came from. This plan completely terminates President Obama's past plan on using non-enforcement policies that allow thousands of criminal aliens to roam freely in our streets. Along with this plan, it calls for the end of sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities are the cities that adopted policy of protecting undocumented immigrants by not prosecuting them for illegally being here in the U.S. Trump wants jobs to be for American citizens only because he believes Americans lose opportunity at jobs because of the low wages illegal immigrants accept jobs at. Currently, many immigrants come to the U.S. illegally in search of jobs, even though federal law prohibits the employment of illegal immigrants. Trump's immigration plan was simplified into 3 bold sentences. A nation without borders is not a nation. A nation without laws is not a nation. A nation that does not serve its own citizens is not a nation. Donald Trump explains how our current laxness towards illegal immigration shows a recklessness and disregard for those who live here legally.